Hey everybody, Pastor Zach here. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today as we gather together, as we live into community, and as we engage one another near and far in relationship and connection, and in an opportunity to live more deeply together and to strive to understand, to ask questions, to be who God created us to be. I was struck just yesterday. I saw this thing about Jonah. Jonah is a short prophet, minor prophet in the Bible, short book. Most of you know the story of Jonah and the whale, but there's a whole backstory for that, and I'm gonna try to recap it in about 30 seconds. God goes to Jonah, says he wants Jonah to go to the city called Nineveh and prophesy to them and basically tell them that if they don't change their ways, they're going to be destroyed. He doesn't want to do it because he doesn't really like the people in Nineveh, so he tries to run away. He does that, gets in a ship, gets in a nasty storm. Everyone finds out that what Jonah did. They throw Jonah overboard. Jonah gets swallowed by the whale. Jonah stays there 3 days, praying to God, gets spit back up, and decides after all of that, now's the time to go to Nineveh. So Nineveh's a huge city. He walks in a day's journey, and then he starts professing to them, going, God's going to destroy this if you don't turn around. That would be great. Story ends there. But the Ninevites, they hear him from the top to the bottom. They declare a time of fasting. They start to repent. And Jonah leaves the city thinking, you would think, well, his job's done, but he actually goes out and sits to wait for their destruction. He gets mad at God again because he knows that God's going to offer forgiveness. And we sort of end with Jonah sort of sitting, waiting, realizing that God's not going to destroy them, and yet utterly upset, excuse me, that God is not going to destroy them. Now think about that for a minute. I was struck by this, and I saw something about it yesterday. It says that Jonah embodies one of our favorite pastimes, maximizing the sin of others while minimizing our own. Really easy to point our finger at someone else, especially if we believe their sin is visible, to mark them as bad or evil or unworthy of forgiveness, of care, of relationship. And yet, we are called to see them, not for their sin, but the image of God that is within them. We as Lutherans believe in law and gospel. We believe that the laws are given as a mirror. Mirrors reflect for us to see. They're not a window to spy on others. That's not saying we shouldn't go gracefully to someone and talk to them about behavior that we see. But it's also not on us to profess and watch them perish with glee. You know, I think it's a reminder for me that what we are called to do in our world today is look for the good in people. You know, over and over again, I hear the Bible being pointed to, not always specifically, and yet what I see being missed are those vital passages of Jesus where, you know, Jesus says, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. where Jesus says, blessed are, where Jesus says we are called to feed the hungry. Even in the story of Jonah, Jonah says, I knew you were a God who forgives. And he seemed upset by that. And yet, when we need God to forgive, for us, we are so thankful that our God is a forgiving God, that our God is a gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, as it says. Our God comes down, walks beside humanity, teaches us, engages us, teaches us in parables about the one who cared for their neighbor by showing mercy, by a God who invites us in, who takes his place on the cross, who rises, who promises, as we heard, that love is the answer and that it's not over yet. And that we are not alone in this, because God sent an advocate, God sent the Spirit on Pentecost that is soon to be here, to live into this life where we are here and now, to find a way forward together. So as much as we want to be Jonah, and as easy as it can be to be Jonah, to sit back and to look down on people, Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus gets down to them, with them, lifts them up, sees them. So I invite you, challenge us, because I do it too. Let's not be Jonah this week. Let us try to mirror Jesus. Thank you all for spending some time with me today in my ramblings. If you haven't read the book of Jonah, it's not that long. It's actually a really good read. If you got kids, VeggieTales did a movie about it almost 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. That was fun. It was silly. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out, connect. That's why we're here. That's why we do this, to engage one another in this life and to build community. I invite you to join with us. We have one service this Sunday, a combined service at 10:30. We have new members coming in. We're going to celebrate our graduates. We're going to have a picnic. So come, enjoy, share in the potluck picnic with us. Let's have some fun together as we move through this season and as we live into it. I look forward to it, to spending some time with you. Please join us. All are welcome. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. And I look forward to seeing your comments, your questions, your smart remarks, and how you share this with someone else this week. Take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.